What if the history books, the ones we all learn from, don't quite tell the full story?
Hmm.
Like, what if there are these hidden tales, these really rich ancient cultures, just sort of buried under our everyday lives?
It's a really fascinating idea, isn't it? That maybe the familiar ground we walk on has secrets we haven't even considered.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what we're diving into today.
Okay.
Our source is this really unique narrative. It's called Puvungna by Daniel Ross Stiel.
Right, Puvungna. Now, it's a fictional story, yeah.
It is. It's fiction, but it's like deeply rooted in real places, real Southern California history.
Ah, okay.
We're going to follow this coming-of-age adventure, basically, that kind of accidentally digs up this whole forgotten slice of American history.
So our mission today really is to unpack all of that. The personal story, the culture clash, this historical puzzle.
Yeah, we want to pull out the interesting bits about the ancient Tongva people and their sacred village, Puvungna.
And there's this, well, pretty revolutionary theory in there too, right? About early European contact. Challenges the standard timeline.
It really does. So get ready for some, well, frankly, surprising stuff. It might make you look at your own surroundings a bit differently. See the history right under your feet.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this.
All right, so picture this. California, 1966, warm day, last day of school.
The best day of the year for a kid.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we meet our narrator, Dan. He's in 8th grade, Stanford Junior High, just daydreaming about summer starting.
And he's in California history class, which turns out to be pretty important.
Very. The teacher is this guy, Mr. Talbot.
Mr. Talbot, okay.
A little bit geeky, maybe, wore a bow tie. But the kids thought he was cool.
Why was that? The bow tie?
Huh? Probably not. Now, he drove this amazing car, a pristine 1956 Mercury Monterey, baby blue and white.
Oh, wow. Okay, that definitely ups the cool factor for a teacher in 66.
For sure. But his real cool, the lasting cool, came from how he taught. See, he also taught anthropology over at Long Beach State College.
Okay, so he had some real expertise.
Yeah, and he brought early California history alive. He'd bring in his own collection of, like, ancient Indian tools, bits of pottery, arrowheads.
Stuff he found locally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grinding stones, all collected from old settlements right there in the area.
So he's already showing them history isn't just books. It's, like, tangible. It's right there.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Kind of foreshadows everything, doesn't it? This idea that history is underfoot if you just look.
Yeah, it plants that seed. Local history, lived history.
So outside of school, Dan's life is all about his gang, the Manzanita Playboys.
Sounds serious.
Huh, not really. Not like a modern gang, just, a bunch of neighborhood kids, kind of misfits.
The usual suspects.
Pretty much. There's Jimmy, lives 2 doors down. He's described as a professional kleptomaniac.
Oh, boy, okay. And a neat freak, apparently. Bit of a contradiction.
Yeah, weird combo. But that habit of his, it actually kicks off the whole adventure later. It's kind of crucial.
Interesting. Who else?
There's Todd. He's the hustler, a wrestler too. Rick, the neighborhood handyman type. His dad worked at the Navy shipyard, so Rick had access to this massive tool shed, like unbelievably cool tools for a kid.
Right, the dream shed.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then there's Davis, younger kid, next door neighbor, usually on house arrest because his dad was super strict.
So a typical bunch of kids, really. It's funny how, like, big discoveries can start from such ordinary, everyday stuff.
Exactly. Kind of sets up that idea, doesn't it? That history isn't just made by important people. It can be stumbled upon by anyone.
Yeah, it challenges that perception.
The big summer adventure idea? It starts at El Dorado Park. A golf ball flies over the fence. And Todd, the hustler, gets this bright idea, sneak into the golf course lake at night, grab all the lost balls, sell them.
Ah, the classic golf ball retrieval scheme. Every kid thinks of that one, right?
Yeah.
Pure entrepreneurial spirit.
And a bit of trespassing.
Well, yeah, a little bit of mischief mixed in. So this is where Dan's brother comes in, Bob.
Yep, little brother Bob. He's 10. Dan's kind of embarrassed by him at first. Calls him a big, dumb, clumsy lapdog.
Ouch.
Rough. Yeah, apparently Bob was always one getting picked on by bullies, the fall guy. But he's persistent, good-natured. And that persistence, it matters later.
Okay. And speaking of bullies.
Right, there's this kid, Jake the Humiliator, used to target Dan.
The Humiliator. Nice nickname.
Yeah. But karma, maybe? Jake wipes out on his super cool custom chopper bike near the golf course stream. Brace his leg.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And guess who inherits the chopper?
Let me guess. Bob.
Bingo. Bob gets the coolest bike in town. Dan is not thrilled about this at the time.
Huh. I bet. So Jake's out of the picture.
Yep, and that clears the way for the Manzanita Playboys and their ingenious midnight golf ball plan.
All right, so what's the master plan? Operation Golf Ball Freedom.
Pretty much. The goal was simple, really. Meet at Dan's house, midnight, sneak into the park, scoop balls from the lake.
And they came prepared.
Oh, yeah. Davis brought fishing nets. Todd had inflatable pool mattresses, buckets, and Rick raided the magic tool shed.
What did he bring?
Genuine U.S. Navy underwater flashlights.
Oh, okay, serious equipment. They were ready for business?
Ready for summer riches, or so they thought.
Okay, midnight strikes. Time for the mission.
Yep. The boys creep out. Jimmy, maybe not the best choice for stealth ops. He's wearing bright white Vans that practically glow in the dark.
Not exactly spy gear.
Not at all. And Davis is in bright yellow surfer trunks and floppy sandals like he's hitting the beach.
Hilarious. So much for covert. What about Bob?
Bob's grounded, much to Dan's relief, actually. He didn't want his embarrassing little brother tagging along.
Right. So despite the wardrobe malfunctions, did they actually get the golf balls?
Amazingly, yes. Huge success. In less than an hour, they haul out like 127 golf balls.
Wow. That's a lot of golf balls.
They're convinced they've struck gold. Jimmy, the neat freak, cleans and counts them meticulously. They hide the stash near the clubhouse.
Okay, mission accomplished. Time to go home.
You think so? But no.
Oh.
As they're drying off, Rick, who's been keeping watch, he spots something. A campfire.
Yeah.
Maybe half a mile away, over in this empty field they called the Triangle.
The triangle.
Yeah, just this patch of land bordered by Spring Street, Coyote Creek, and the San Gabriel River. Basically undeveloped land back then.
Okay. And even though they're tired, wet, probably cold.
The lure of another secret agent operation, as Dan calls it, is too strong. They got to investigate.
Of course they do. Boys being boys. Was it easy to get there?
Not at all. It was actually pretty tough. They had to scale 2 fences, scramble down into the concrete channel of the San Gabriel River.
Oh, yeah, those big concrete riverbeds.
Exactly. Cross the stream, running in the middle, climb up the other steep bank, and then scale another fence to get into the field.
Wow. That's some effort, especially for Davis and his floppy sandals.
Yeah, Davis struggled. Todd actually had to help him quite a bit. It shows, how determined they were to see what this fire was all about.
So they finally make it. What do they see?
They creep up close and see 4 men, long hair, down to their shoulders, sitting around the fire on these odd T-shaped stools.
Cheat stools. Okay.
Yeah. And they're playing some kind of game with dice, eating something that looks like nuts from a pouch.
And Dan's first thought is?
Well, based on his 1966 worldview, right? He hears them speaking a language he doesn't know, maybe Spanish. So he thinks, okay, maybe they're Mexicans. Or, because the long hair and the shell jewelry they're wearing, maybe they're hippies.
Right. Those would be the sort of default categories in his mind then, trying to make sense of the unfamiliar.
Exactly. It really shows how our first impressions, our labels, can totally miss the mark. It sets up the big reveal, doesn't it?
It really does, because things are about to get weird.
Oh, yeah. This is where it goes off the rails. Jimmy. Remember Jim?
Professional kleptomaniac. Oh, no.
Yep. He just can't help himself. While the others are just watching, he sneaks up and snatches the pouch of nuts.
He didn't.
He did. The others see him, yell, run. Everyone scrambles back towards the fence.
Right.
Total chaos. But Dan, as he's trying to climb back over the fence, 2 of the men grab him, pull him back towards the fire. He's absolutely terrified, thinks he's being kidnapped.
Okay, heart-pounding moment. Then what?
Then, out of nowhere, Dan hears this cheerful, familiar voice call out.
No.
Yes, it's Bob. Little brother Bob just strolls into the firelight.
Bob, the grounded brother. How?
No idea how he got there.
Yeah.
But he walks right up to the hog. Ben calls them Mumat, Ahiko, Juna. Maury gives him this, hippie handshake thing.
A hippie handshake in 1966.
Yeah, and starts talking to them fluently in this language Dan has never heard before.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. Bob speaks their language?
Apparently. So just when you think you know where this story's going, bam, Bob's the key.
Mind blown. What does Bob say?
He turns to Dan, who's just standing there completely stunned, right? And he casually explains that the stolen things were just walnuts, just regular walnuts.
Well, that's okay.
And that Dan isn't being kidnapped. He's just busted for his friend stealing.
Busted by ancient people.
Well, yeah. And then Bob drops the real bombshell. He says, told a matter of fact, that he's known these guys since last summer.
Since last summer.
Yep. And he's been teaching them English.
Bob's been teaching them English.
That's what he says. And then, the clincher. He tells Dan they can't go home now. It's too late.
Too late. What does that mean?
They're heading to the village. Dan's just completely lost.
Yeah.
Shivering, confused. His whole world is flipped upside down.
I can only imagine. So off they go to the village.
Yep. They start walking, heading towards Seal Beach, towards the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
But the landscape, that's all wrong to Dan.
So.
The weeds are super tall, the ground is wet, mushy, squishy grass. They're wading through ankle-deep puddles sometimes. He realizes they're not heading towards any landmarks he recognizes. They're going deeper into somewhere else.
Okay, this is getting increasingly strange. Where do they end up?
They reach this wide lake, kind of meandering, and the men pull out these 2 canoes. Bob tells Dan they're called tayat.
Tayat, that's the Tongva word, right?
Exactly. Tongva for canoe. They're made from hollowed-out oak trees. And they don't paddle them, they push them along with these long, flat boards.
Interesting.
Dan is just so exhausted and overwhelmed by everything, he basically collapses and falls asleep in the bottom of one of the tayat.
Can't blame him. What happens when he wakes up?
He wakes up, and they've arrived. They're at the village.
The village, Puvungna.
Not explicitly named yet, but yes. Mumat and the others come over, and they've got these baskets filled with fresh fish, clams, caught while Dan was asleep.
A welcoming gift.
Sort of. Dan feels really bad, ashamed about the whole walnut theft thing. He asks Bob to translate an apology to Mumat.
And how does Mumat react?
Very graciously. He basically says, through Bob, that Dan has learned a lesson for becoming a man. Forgiveness. Wisdom.
Wow. That's a powerful moment, especially after being, busted.
It really shifts things for Dan. He suddenly feels this connection to Bob, like a real brotherhood that he hadn't felt before. It's this cultural exchange, this moment of understanding.
That's huge. What happens next? Do they meet other villagers?
Oh yeah, kids come running up, super excited. They all know Bob, shouting Bobby, giving him big group hugs.
So Bob's a regular visitor.
Seems like it. He introduces Dan as his brother. The Tongva boys just kind of awkwardly shake Dan's arm. But the girls, the girls have this unique greeting. They touch their own lips, then touch their fingers to Dan's forehead.
Huh. Interesting.
Dan meets this one girl, Halehi.
Hmm.
And he considers her greeting his first kiss.
Young love across time.
Kind of. And then Bob just casually drops the biggest bombshell yet.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. He just says, totally nonchalantly, we traveled back 500 years in time to this village called Puvungna.
500 years.
Yeah. He points up to this hill overlooking the village and says, it's the holy city on the hill where Long Beach College is going to be built.
Long Beach State, right, where Mr. Talbot teaches.
Exactly. And Bob says the date is June 14th, 1466.
1466. Okay, wow. That is a lot to take in.
Understatement. To prove it, sort of, they walk up to the top of that hill.
And the view.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Dan sees this sweeping panorama, the San Gabriel Mountains, snow still on the peaks, Palos Verdes Peninsula, the Pacific Ocean, Catalina Island, clear as day. The salt marshes near Seal Beach.
But what's not there is a key, right?
Precisely. No buildings, no freeways snaking across the land, no oil refineries, no power plants, no streets, no traffic lights, no cars. Nothing modern, just gone.
And that must have been the moment it truly sank in, seeing the absence of everything familiar.
Absolutely. The visual proof. This vibrant, ancient world existing right where his modern city usually stood. You can almost feel the weight of that realization.
So what did the village itself look like, Puvungna?
It was big. Dan estimates maybe 500 or more huts, covered in reeds, arranged in these circular groups around a bigger hut in the center of each group. Hundreds of people walking around, dogs everywhere.
Any other structures?
Yeah, on that hilltop where they were standing, there was this 20-foot-tall observation platform watching over everything.
And Dan starts meeting people, besides the kids.
Yeah, he meets an older woman named Mechi. She's really kind, gives him these warm tortillas cooked on a hot stone, and this sweet drink made from acorns.
Acorn drink, staple food for the Tongva.
Right. And he sees Alehi again, the girl with the greeting.
His first kiss.
He's definitely captivated by her. She's cleaning fish with this sharp, knife-shaped piece of black stone obsidian, probably. She doesn't speak his language, obviously, but they communicate non-verbally. He loves her laugh, her smile.
So he's starting to connect despite the 500-year time difference?
Yeah, these personal connections are making this ancient world feel incredibly real, very immediate for him.
But then the mood shifts.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
Just as things seem peaceful, Mumat, up on that observation platform, spots something out on the ocean.
Uh-oh, not good.
5 large ships, sailing ships, like caravels, heading straight into the harbor. And they have these big crimson crosses painted on their sails.
Crimson crosses. Portuguese.
That's the implication. The ships fire their cannons. Just warning shots, maybe?
Yeah.
But the sound booms across the bay, stuns the villagers. They've never heard anything like it.
Terrifying. How did the Tongva react? Prepare to fight?
No. Amazingly, Mumat and the men decide to greet the visitors. Not with weapons, but with gifts.
Gifts, even after the cannons.
Yeah. Huge baskets of acorns, different kinds of breads, flowers, valuable deer and rabbit pelts, smoked meats, an incredible display of generosity and welcome.
Wow, that says a lot about their culture. Openness, maybe even assuming goodwill.
It seems that way. The lead ship drops anchor. A captain comes ashore in a small boat. He calls out, "You venu na paz."
Portuguese, I come in peace.
Exactly. But then he draws his sword, touches a tip to the sand, and makes another declaration. "Eu declaro esta terra para pertencer ao rei de Portugal."
I declare this land to belong to the King of Portugal. So much for coming in peace, claiming it right off the bat.
Yeah, the irony is thick. But initially, despite the language barrier, there's this sort of peaceful exchange. Food is shared, gestures are made.
What did the villagers think of the sailors?
They were just completely awestruck. The silvery armor, the shields, the helmets, the colorful clothes, the weapons, even these small cannons mounted on sticks the sailors had. It was all totally alien and fascinating to them.
A moment of mutual curiosity, maybe, before things go wrong.
Right. And then the scene shifts again to something huge for the Tongva.
Okay.
Thousands of Tongva people start arriving from all over the region. It's time for a massive ceremony honoring Chinakinich.
Chinakinich. He's a really central figure in Southern California, indigenous spirituality, right? Born at Puvungna, according to tradition.
Exactly. This isn't just some local festival. It's a deeply important religious event. It gives us this incredible window into their spiritual world.
What was the ceremony like?
Intense. Ritualistic dancing, drumming on these huge, hollowed-out tree trunks, flutes made from deer bones, powerful chanting filling the air, a real connection to their traditions, their land, their beliefs.
And Chinakinich himself appears.
Yes. Carried in on this elaborate platform decorated with deer horns, feathers, flowers. He's wearing a robe made of brightly colored feathers, his face and arms painted black and red, abalone shells shining on his chest and waist.
Wow. Quite an entrance.
Definitely. He's holding this baton with a golden medallion. And he speaks to the people about their laws, the rituals, the ceremonies they need to follow to preserve life, to live correctly.
A spiritual leader laying down the law, essentially.
And a key part of it is this smudging ritual.
Ah, smudging. Still practiced today by many indigenous groups.
Right. Chinakinich takes ash from these smoldering leaves and smears it on people's foreheads. It's meant to purify them.
How so?
The idea is it cleans away all the bad feelings, negative thoughts, and bad spirits.
Yeah.
Helps people stay true and grow a good heart. It's about spiritual cleansing, community healing.
A really profound act. Does Dan participate?
He does. Chinakinich comes right up to him, this figure of immense spiritual power, and performs the ritual on him, too. Dan is just completely awestruck.
I bet. And Alehi.
Later, Balehi comes to Dan. In this really touching moment, she takes off her own necklace, made of shells and beads, and gives it to him.
Wow. A significant gift.
Huge. And Dan, he doesn't have much, but he gives her the only thing he really has of value from his time that silver quarter the golfer gave him way back at the start.
The quarter from the golf course incident.
Yeah. He tells Bob to translate that it's a way to always remember me forever.
Oh, man. That's powerful, this connection across centuries, sealed with these tokens.
It really is. It feels like the peak of this connection, this understanding between them.
You get the feeling something bad is coming.
Yeah. The peace is shattered. Suddenly screams erupt. Loud booms. Explosions.
They're Portuguese.
Yes. The sailors are attacking, swords flashing, cannons firing into the crowds. The village Puvungna starts burning. That initial peaceful contact just evaporates into brutality.
Just like that. Betrayal.
Total betrayal. It's chaos, terror, and in the middle of it all,
Bob.
What does he do? He turns into a hero. He sees a Portuguese soldier about to attack Dan and Alehi. Bob grabs a big rock and just clocks the soldier, knocking him down.
Whoa, little Bob, the fall guy saving the day.
Exactly. He grabs Dan and Alehi, pulls them into hiding, and they just have to listen. Listen to the sounds of the attack, the slaughter, the screams of anguish and terror as the Portuguese destroy the village and its people.
Devastating. A horrific end to that encounter.
Truly horrific. And then Dan wakes up.
Wakes up. Back in his own time.
Yeah. It's morning. He's back in the field near the riverbed, 1966. His ankle is throbbing from the escape. Alehi. She's gone.
Oh, man. Was it all a dream?
That's the first thought, right?
Yeah.
But Bob is there. He confirms they're home. He insists it wasn't a dream, it was magic, and Dan absolutely must never forget what happened.
Great work, okay.
And slowly, the familiar sights and sounds of 1966 return. Power lines overhead, the distant hum of the freeway. They're definitely back.
But does Dan have any proof? Anything to hold on to?
He does. As he sits up, he feels something around his neck.
The necklace.
Alehi's shell and bead necklace. It's there. Tangible proof. It wasn't a dream. It was real.
Wow. That's incredible. So he knows.
He knows. He clutches the necklace, tears in his eyes, and makes a vow. He will never forget and tell the story of what happened at Puvungna.
That's a heavy burden for a kid. How does he even start?
They limp home and waiting for them. Chaos of a different kind. Police cars, TV news crews, KTLA is there, reporters. They've been missing all night.
Oh, right. The whole golf ball thing seems pretty minor now.
Totally irrelevant. Dan, just overwhelmed, emotional, probably in shock, sees the cameras and just blurts out the whole unbelievable story.
What does he say?
Something like, we met Tongva Indians. We went back in time 500 years. We went to Puvungna. We found the Tongva Indian village. The Portuguese killed everyone. We have to help them. We have to find them.
Oh, wow. Just lays it all out there on live TV. How did that go over?
About as well as you'd expect. His dad, Big Lou, sees this, hauls him inside, furious, grounds him for the entire summer, accuses him of making up wild lies.
Yeah, I can see a parent reacting that way. It sounds completely insane.
Right. And the other Manzanita playboys, they get dragged down to the police station, reprimanded for being out late. Nobody believes Dan's story. Not a soul.
That must have been crushing for him. Knowing the truth, having the proof, and just being dismissed.
Absolutely. Reinforces how hard it is to challenge what people think they know, especially with something so extraordinary.
But then, Mr. Talbot.
Yes. A few days later, Mr. Talbot shows up at Dan's house. He saw the news report.
Does he believe Dan?
He does. Or at least he's willing to listen seriously. He tells Dan he believes him and asks him to tell the whole story right from the beginning.
What a relief that must have been for Dan. Finally, an adult taking him seriously. Absolutely crucial. And Talbot zeroes in on the details about the Portuguese sailors, the Crimson Crosses, the time frame.
Does he recognize anything?
He thinks he does. He identifies the captain Dan described, based on historical accounts, as a guy named Antão Gonçalves.
Gonçalves. Who was he?
A known Portuguese explorer and slave trader from the 1400s. But the official record says he was lost at sea sometime in the 1460s. Lost at sea. Or maybe just didn't report where he went.
Exactly. Talbot explains that Portuguese exploration records from that era were top secret. State secrets. And then, many records that did exist were destroyed in the massive Lisbon earthquake in 1755.
Ah, so the historical record is incomplete, possibly deliberately obscured.
Precisely. And this fits perfectly with Mr. Talbot's own kind of radical historical theory.
Which is?
That the Portuguese actually reached the west coast of North America, California specifically, decades before Columbus even sailed to the East Coast in 1492.
Whoa. Okay, that is radical. That completely upends the standard narrative of European arrival in the Americas.
Totally rewrites it. And Dan's eyewitness account, crazy as it sounds, is the first real potential evidence he's found to support his theory.
So what does Talbot do now? He's got this incredible story, this theory.
He asks Dan to take him there, to the site of Puvungna.
Back to the Triangle Field.
Yep. But of course, now it's 1966. It's just an empty lot, maybe some weeds.
Yeah.
An urban landscape starting to encroach.
And what do they find when they get there?
They find a bulldozer. Gearing up to flatten the whole area, there's a sign, future site of the El Dorado Neighborhood Shopping Center.
Oh no, they're going to destroy it, the sacred site.
Looks that way. But Mr. Talbot, he doesn't hesitate.
What does he do?
He gets back in his prized 56 Mercury, floors it, drives right towards the bulldozer, and slams on the brakes, skidding to a halt right in front of it.
Wow. Uses his classic car as a barricade.
Pretty much. He jumps out and yells at the construction workers, "Stop! This is sacred ground!"
That takes guts. A history teacher versus a bulldozer.
It's an incredible act of defiance. It's not just about land. It's about preserving this history, this truth that Dan brought back.
Did it work? Did they stop?
It caused enough of a commotion. Talbot's passionate stand somehow got the attention of the college president back at Long Beach State. The president, maybe intrigued, maybe just wanting to avoid bad press, grants Talbot 2 weeks 2 weeks to find concrete archaeological evidence that the site is significant.
2 weeks. The clock is ticking.
Seriously ticking. But Mr. Talbot, now Dr. Talbot in the press, becomes this local hero overnight. His story, Dan's story, the Portuguese theory, the race to find evidence, it's in the local paper, the Long Beach Independent, every day.
And it goes national.
Yeah. Eventually picks up steam. National Geographic, Look magazine get interested. Walter Cronkite even reports on it, starts challenging the whole archaeological establishment.
Amazing. So did they find anything in those 2 weeks?
They did.
Yeah.
On July 2nd, right near the deadline, Dan and his family are there at the dig site. An archaeologist carefully brushes dirt away and reveals the partially excavated skeleton of a young girl, maybe about 12 years old.
Oh, wow. Tragic, but proof of the village.
But there's more. Clutched in her tiny finger bones
No! Don't tell me.
is a small, corroded metal disc. The archaeologist cleans it off. It's the silver quarter, the 1964 silver quarter Dan gave to Alehi.
Oh my God, chills. Actual chills.
Dan just whispers her name, Alehi. Tears streaming down his face. Not tears of sadness, the story says, but tears of joy. Proof. She was real. The connection was real, confirmed across 500 years.
That's unbelievable. What an ending to that part of the story. So the site was saved.
This specific area identified as the old Vanquick Temple site, yeah, it was saved from the shopping center development.
Is there anything there now?
Just a plaque. According to the narrator, it's kind of dusty and forgotten now. A quiet little marker for this incredibly profound history that was almost completely erased.
Wow, what a journey. So when we step back from this incredible story, what does it all really mean?
Well, it's way more than just a cool time travel adventure, right? It really digs into how personal experience, even a kid's seemingly unbelievable story, can shine a light on these huge forgotten histories.
Yeah, and that deep connection between the past and the present. It's not abstract history. It was right there, literally under the proposed shopping center.
And it highlights the courage it takes,
Yeah.
the quiet heroism of people like Dan, who held on to his truth, and Talbot, who believed him and fought for it, even when everyone else dismissed them.
It's truly fascinating how this one boy's experience, this single thread, could potentially unravel so much. Not just revealing the specific tragic event, the Tongva meeting those Portuguese explorers way back in the 15th century.
But also potentially forcing us to rethink the entire timeline of global exploration, the history of indigenous resilience, who was where and when.
Exactly. It challenges the neat narratives we're often given.
Which really leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? If a story like this, a sacred place like Puvungna, could be hidden just beneath the surface of modern life.
What else is out there? What other vital stories? What other sacred grounds are buried under the concrete, lost in the footnotes?
Yeah, just waiting. Waiting for someone to listen, to believe enough to start digging, literally or metaphorically.
And if we were to find them, how might uncovering those hidden histories change not just our textbooks, but how we understand ourselves, our communities, and the very land we live on today?
Something to really think about.